everybody, it's day one, it's demo day. We got the bus here parked at Jan's place in beautiful Fredericton. It's a bit of an eyesore, so sorry to Jan's parents, but it's the best we got.
So day one today the goal was to get all the floors out and get everything up off the floors. We're working away at this here now. When we first bought the bus, all the seats were pulled out, and this is what it looked like.
And here we are now. We've got some of the floorboards up. Taking a lot of time with the angle grinder. There's a lot of rusty bolts, but making our way through it. Ripping out the last of the old bus. Making our way through grinding the back wall and those little storage compartments.
Cut out the closet so we got space for beds in the future.
And our biggest issue, I guess, of today was the heating system. So it's all tied in with engine coolant. So we need to hire a professional, wink wink nudge nudge, to cut these lines and bleed the coolant and then stitch it back together so the bus doesn't overheat. Will it overheat? Stay tuned, find out. We don't know. Hopefully not. But that's what we got so far for day one.
First things first was to rip out all the bolts. A lot of them were cut from when we bought the bus, and then under the bolts was a layer of real crappy vinyl, so we've been tearing that up. And then once the vinyl's all up, we are trying our best with hammers to try and get it up, but it's not working well.
Alright, we are back at the bus after doing some planning and picking up these tools. Shout out to the St. John Tool Library for hooking us up. Our plan for today, to deal with these two heaters, as Tom mentioned, we'll have to bleed the coolant out of these green hoses and be careful not to make a mess with it, obviously. And we'll have to deal with these luggage closets at the back. As you can see, we started with the angle grinder to make a cut there. We'll have to do the same on the right and deal with any rusty bolts on the bottom and back. And honestly, we'll probably have to cut it into pieces to get it out too, so stay tuned for that. So we're just dealing with the bolts and screws in the floor now. These ones, for example, were holding the seats in place and they were just grinded to get the seats out. So we might be able to dislodge those from the underside of the floor, or we'll just have to grind them flat with the floor to make sure the subfloor can go in. This left side closet should be ready to sneak out the front door there. And the right side, we'll have to make that vertical grind and cut that into pieces to get it out as well. Finally, time for dump day. We can finally get rid of all the vinyl, subfloor, railing, stuff like that. We can clear off the floor, and this is kind of what it looks like. We're going to take the wire brush, get all the rust off to prepare for primer. Meanwhile, Tom will be using the classic brute force hammer and chisel approach on the lower part of the wall here. Well, after a long and bumpy road, we finally made it around the bus to this final panel of the upper wall. If you have access to an air hammer or rivet blaster, please use it. The hammer chisel brute force approach is not fun, and it takes a lot of effort.
Alright, so we've got all these holes in the floor from the last seats that we had, that the bus had. So, simple little trick to cover those up. Get a bag of pennies and some caulking. Just apply the caulking all the way around. And stick a penny.
Lucky penny.
Cool.
Alright, job complete. We got it primed and watertight. Looks great with this light gray. Just gotta let her dry overnight. We'll be back.
Okay. What's up, guys? It's week 2, day 7 of the reno. We're still at it here. Today we're trying to tackle the ceiling. There's a few steps to get the ceiling done. So first of all, we'll take the Phillips head screwdriver and just take out all the screws on the back and then around all the speakers. And then after that, we're gonna take this the air gun with the rivet blaster and poke all the rivets out. Then we have a chisel bit on this that's gonna easily take those out as well. So that's a whole lot easier than using the hammer and nails that we've been using. So stay tuned. We'll show you how it looks.
Alright, back to business. We got this other technique here that we can just pry it open like so. The crowbar's nice and close. You can use this roof support for leverage. It kind of pops out not too bad. So we'll use both techniques. See if we can't make quick work of this roof.
2 hours later.
We were getting real fed up with rivets here, you know. We pulled a lot of them off the roof. However, these ones along the edge are super annoying to deal with. So instead of actually pulling them out, we've just taken the angle grinder and chopped off the pieces of metal right above the rivet.
Alright, so another big day. Almost completely finished the demolition. We got the roof fully off, back to front. Time will tell if we need to get these rivets out as well for support for the framing. Not 100% sure yet. And the lower part of the wall we're going to end up leaving. These rivets are just going to be too much of a pain to get off, and we'll still be able to slide the insulation down and build the framing around that. Before we move on to the floor, we'll have to clean up these wires. We think there'll be a lot we'll be able to snip, so we'll just have to follow them back to the fuse box and get them out of here and then get them all tidied up. And once we do that, we'll clean the floor, get another coat of primer, and we'll move on to the flooring hopefully very shortly. Alright, so we're getting ready to tackle these wires. See, we've got them exposed. This is speaker wires for the back speaker here. So we've got them exposed and we're just cross-referencing with our diagram here.
Yeah, we got these online from the Bluebird database. So looking at this is the radio system. So you can see that the power source is here, followed by the radio, and then the speaker wires are 2005, 6, 2003, 2004, which correlate ones over here.
For example, you can see 2005 there. 2008 is for the orange ones. So we're just going to try to feed this down and cut them closer to the fuse box so we can lighten this and make it a bit cleaner. And there we have it. All the wires, followed them all the way back to this mess of wires, all leading to dome lights and speakers. So we think we're pretty confident we can cut these. Right at the edge, the moment of truth.
We may have messed up, and the tape measure has now gone submerged in the coolant. Nice, Jan, nice. That's a tough one.
Alright, so the wires fully cleared up, including the emergency exit ones. Got a nice clean pile of them now. We're finishing up the caulking here. Tom's just getting the edges because we are going to go for another coat of primer after a little break here tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning into the first episode of the Antelope Bus Build Series. In a little over a week, we turned a full school bus into a shell of its former self. If you want to follow along with the build series, make sure you hit that subscribe button. See you in the next episode.